There's something incredibly heartwarming about watching babies and baby animals grow up together. It can lead to some truly adorable scenarios. Take, for instance, this baby who adored falling asleep with his beloved cat. However, an unexpected turn of events was about to occur. Frankie and Otto, a couple from the Netherlands deeply in love with each other, decided, like many other couples in love, to get married and publicly declare their commitment to each other. Their marriage was a joyous one, and they relished the idea of spending the rest of their lives together. Their small family consisted of Otto, Frankie, and Frankie's beloved cat, Yaya. Yaya was a rare Ashera breed, known for its high value, sometimes fetching over $125,000. But to Frankie, the cat's worth was irrelevant. Her father, a renowned art dealer, had gifted Yaya to her on her birthday, and since then, she had showered the feline with love and care. However, like many couples, after a while, Frankie and Otto felt that something was missing from their little family. Around this time, they decided to have a baby. 9 months later, Frankie gave birth to an adorable baby boy they named Tom. Initially, when they brought their baby home, Yaya was a bit wary of the new addition to the family. The feline felt a bit left out, as Frankie and Otto now directed most of their attention to the newborn, leaving less time for Yaya's affection. Instead of acting out, Yaya chose to get to know Tom. The curious cat would approach the baby, sniffing him to understand that this was now his new brother. Soon, with little prompting from their parents, the baby and the cat formed a strong bond. They could often be found napping together, and as Tom learned to crawl, they played games with each other. However, one day, Tom's world turned upside down. It began like any other day. Tom, now around 7 months old, was enjoying his time with Yaya. The feline and the baby had developed a brotherly bond and cherished their time together, regardless of their activities. Frankie, Tom's mother, was returning to work after her 6-month maternity leave and had online meetings for work on Mondays and Tuesdays. On this particular Monday, Frankie was in her office working while Tom and Yaya played in the garden outside. They were engaged in a new game Tom had devised, quickly becoming one of his favorites. Tom would crawl behind Yaya, attempting to catch him, while the feline stayed just out of reach, playfully teasing the young baby. They played like this for hours until Tom grew tired. After concluding her meeting, Frankie noticed that her baby looked exhausted. She brought Tom inside and settled him on the sofa for an afternoon nap, with Yaya following closely. After feeding the baby, Frankie watched with contentment as both Tom and Yaya drifted off to sleep together. Seeing her two favorite boys happy and safe, Frankie returned to her office to tackle her mountain of paperwork. Everything was peaceful, and Frankie couldn't have been happier. However, little did she know that things were about to take an unexpected turn. While Frankie was engrossed in her work, Yaya was awakened from his slumber by a shadow moving in the garden. Concerned about what it might be, as it seemed too large to be a typical bird, the feline tried to get a better look at the garden from the living room window. However, due to the sun's position in the sky, he couldn't see much and didn't think much of it. The cat returned to his spot on the sofa, content to enjoy a bit more sleep. Frankie would occasionally check on Tom and Yaya in the living room while working. During one of those checks, she noticed something unusual. Yaya wasn't nestled up on the sofa next to Tom. Frankie assumed the cat might have wandered off to get a drink or something and went back to work, unconcerned. What she couldn't have known was that Yaya wasn't even inside the house. The young feline had awakened to find himself in some kind of cage, disoriented and calling out for help. Unfortunately, all he received was a jolt as the cage shook. He peered out of the cage and realized he was being transported down a street that resembled their neighborhood. It seemed someone had entered Frankie's home and stolen the cat, likely aware of the high value of his breed and planning to sell him for a profit. Yaya was swiftly placed in the trunk of a car, and his world turned pitch black. Meanwhile, Tom had woken up from his nap only to find Yaya missing. The baby began crying, alerting Frankie to the fact that Yaya was not in the house for the rest of the evening. But it appeared that only Tom noticed. The next morning, Tom started to investigate Yaya's disappearance. He combed through the house, peering under furniture and babbled in his baby talk, as if calling for his lost feline brother. But Yaya was nowhere to be found. Soon enough, Otto and Frankie became aware of the cat's absence. They had never seen Tom without Yaya for as long as they could remember. It dawned on Otto and Frankie that Yaya's breed was highly sought after primarily due to its high selling price. They began to worry that someone might have taken their beloved furry friend. Later that afternoon, Tom was crawling in the garden while Otto and Frankie watched over him. As the baby explored, he stumbled upon an unusual piece of paper. He picked it up and began examining it. His parents noticed his peculiar behavior and walked over to see what he had found. In the baby's hand was a piece of paper with an address written on it. Initially perplexed, Tom's parents started to suspect that this address might be connected to Yaya's disappearance. The baby began to cry because he wanted to keep the paper, so Otto handed it back to him. Tom continued to fiddle with the paper, and at one point, he held it up to the sun. This action revealed a faint watermark of a local shop. This discovery was the final piece of the puzzle that Frankie and Otto needed to find their cat. Immediately after making this revelation, they alerted the authorities, suspecting that Yaya had been stolen. Little did they know the magnitude of the operation behind it. The police responded to their call and obtained a warrant to conduct a raid on the shop associated with the address found on the paper where Yaya was suspected to be held. Upon entering the building, the police discovered a room filled with valuable cat breeds stolen from their rightful owners. Luckily, Yaya was among them. The beloved feline was found safe and sound and promptly returned home to his eagerly waiting family. Upon his return, Yaya was showered with love and affection, reflecting how thankful Frankie, Otto, and even Tom were to have their furry friend back. Since then, Tom and his parents kept a closer eye on Yaya to prevent any more scares like this in the future. The baby and the cat remained as inseparable as ever, growing up together, almost like two brothers. Fortunately, the police apprehended the individual who had stolen the cats and placed him under arrest. They also reunited all the stolen felines with their original owners, who were overjoyed to be reunited with their beloved pets. What an incredible story of resilience and love! Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons to stay updated with our daily content.